Now that we finished modifying the lips, we have a problem. And here's the problem. The lips are too prominent, right? And why are they too prominent? Well, the image is almost revolving around the lips. The eyes have kind of fallen back in intensity and contrast and brightness. The reason is we haven't done anything else yet. So we can't evaluate if we've pushed the lips far enough or too far until later. And later we'll evaluate these things and probably modify these as we go. But for now, what we need to do is add a little bit of makeup. We want to add some to the cheeks perhaps, and we want to work on the eyes and the eyebrows and the overall shape and structure of the face. So here's how we're going to do that. Create a new layer, Shift-Command-N, and we'll name this layer Dimension. Next, we're going to take our blend mode to good old soft light and click OK. Now, I want to add some tone here, and I want to pick a color from my image. So I'll go ahead and grab my brush tool, hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and sample one of these colors from the lips. And then I'll open up this color palette. I'm just going to mute that and darken it out a bit. So I've brought that down a touch there. Click OK. Next, I want to lower my opacity with this brush. So I'll press the 5 key to go to 50% opacity. Make my brush nice and big. And what I'm going to do is just start to darken these cheeks here. Now, as I do this, these brush strokes are going to be too strong. I'm going to bring in too much onto this cheek area. Yet we're going to be able to back this off and modify it by using our Gaussian blur. So again, we're adding too much here. And then we'll go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur. When we bring in this Gaussian blur, we're just going to blur that shape out so it's a little bit more subtle. And here's our before and then after. Now, of course, we can't always lower the opacity. And just adding a little bit of color as well as dimension of the face can really help out. Now, there are other ways that we can do this as well. Another thing that we can do is create a new layer. Shift-Command-N on a Mac, Shift-Control-N on a PC. Let's name this one Dimension 2. This time we're going to blend mode of soft light. Click OK. And our brush tool, we're going to paint with black. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the face here. Opacity, 20%, really low. And I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm interested in doing is just darkening up this edge or this line around the nose. I want to thin the nose out just a bit. And I'm making my brush strokes a little bit too harsh. And I'm trying to do that as a way to kind of illustrate how this is going to function, and also so that you can start to see how you can do this on your own. All right, let's work on the jawline a little bit here. And currently, I don't have the opacity setting on my Wacom tablet, and I don't have that as I typically would in case you're using a mouse so that you can see how this will work on your own. And again, just darkening up that just a bit more there, a little bit more here. And it's going to be pretty hard lines, but you know, in makeup a lot of times what happens is you make these hard lines and then you go back and you soften them. I'm going to go ahead and darken this part over here a bit and over here. Press the X key, bring in a little bit of white, so brighten up in the middle there, and then also brighten up down the nose. Press the X key to go the other way. Smaller brush, just bring that in. Bring it in from each side slowly. Okay, well, so far it looks very strange, but we're getting there. The X key, paint a little bit of white here, a little bit of white on this area, and stick with me. You're thinking, okay, Chris, where are you going with this one? We're going to go to our filter, blur, Gaussian blur. When we go to that Gaussian blur, what we're looking to do is to diffuse those lines so that they're almost gone. So we're going to go ahead and find that sweet spot where they look pretty good. Click OK, and then we have our before and after, right? Just adding a little bit of dimension, adding a little bit of texture or shape there. Now, if that's too strong for us, no big deal. We can always lower the opacity, or we can go back and do it again. And now that we know where we're going with this, we're probably going to paint from the first or from the get-go a little bit more lightly, right? And in this case here, we can see that we kind of have our before and after. It basically thinned out the nose just a touch, added a little bit more strength to the jawline. Here's our overall dimension, before and then after. Subtle yet significant shape to the face.